Welcome to Car Biz Confidential, the podcast that's all about the car business, whether it's fixed ops, variable ops, sales, closing, service. We're going to talk about all of it. It doesn't matter if you're a general manager, salesperson, new or a veteran. We're going to have topics that are going to help each and every one of you get better. My goal is all about real world stuff that is happening today in the dealerships. Not a bunch of theory, not a bunch of crap. And I'm lucky enough, we're here at the 2024 NADA convention in Las Vegas. And I have what I consider the gold standard in service training, and it's Jeff Cowan. And he's been around for years. He's in dealerships, has phenomenal training, and we're lucky enough to get 10 or 15 minutes of his time to spend with us. And I just want to thank you for being here, first of all. Yeah, absolutely. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, like you said, my name is Jeff Cowan. I have a company called Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk. We've been around for 37 years. I've been told by NADA that we literally created the niche of training service advisors how to sell and handle customers on the service drive. I love it because that's how we do our training. You know, I knew when I first started the company, I'd written service, and I knew that if I went in and just taught a class, then everybody raised their hands, oh, this is great stuff, great stuff. As soon as I left, everything would go with me.
Right.
So what I did is I started the company by going in and doing the class, and then I'd spend 5 days on the service drive side by side with the advisors, coaching, critiquing, role-playing, writing service, and it worked.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because then, you know, you can, number one, you see what's happening right now. You see what the customers are demanding, the dealership's demanding, management, manufacturers, vendors, and the great content that the customers really respond to. So by doing that, you know, we've led the field for over 37 years. We get the highest hours per repair order.
Wow.
Typically in 5 days, we'll get about 8/10. We advertise 5, but nobody believes 8, but the real number is 8/10. We take most dealerships up to 2.5, 3.0 hours per repair order, perfect survey scores, no E, 92% expected labor rate, 85% customer retention, on and on and on. So, but we've done that because it's like you said, it's no theory. We stand out there on the service drives even today. It's sitting here now. I've got people all, across the country doing that. And so when you're out there with the customers in real time,
I think especially with all the innovations, all the changes, especially with the last 3 years with COVID and everything, I think if you're not in stores, literally shoulder to shoulder, whether it's in service, I'm the same in sales. I always say one of the big separators, there's a lot of liability between me and my competitors, but one of the big ones is that I go in dealerships, in-house. I got competitors that don't know the difference between V-Auto and Vent Solutions or Dealer Track and Dealer Socket because they have concerts. Come to our 2-day concert and they just fly around and then been in dealerships. They don't have a clue. They don't understand scanning VINs and how technology's not selling a car for you, but if you know technology, you can use it to help you sell a car or sell more service, whether it's video on the front end or video on the back end, right? I think it's embracing it, but if you're not there,
no, you've got to be there because it's two-sided. We're talking before we started recording this about how, I think that the big thing that the auto industry, the dealership world has forgotten is the business they're in. But it's relationships with your vendors. It's relationships with people that are helping you out. It's relationships all over the place. And, I love technology. I like all the stuff that's coming to the service drives. But again, most people, like you were kind of alluding to, they use it wrong. And what they don't understand is that technology can't build that relationship. So you found the same thing that I found, or I found what you found.
Yeah.
I don't know who found first. But
let's just walk around the convention hall. We walk around this giant convention hall. We got, thousands of businesses here. Almost all of them are, here's a digital widget to help you sell more of this. Here's a computer program for this. Here's an RFD. Everything is leaving out the people part, right? You can have the best computer program in the world, but if we don't have the people part down pat, right? If we don't train, like you said, I always say we're in the people business, not the car business. And if we forget and think just because we buy a computer program, or just because you have set up concierge service and we have a text program to text out service, okay, but what's the people behind it, right?
To me, technology just makes your job easier. What cracks me up is, I don't know how many years ago it was now, but last decade anyway. One perfect example is the tablet on the service drive. Everybody, hey, you put a tablet on your service drive, you'll get 5/10, you'll be more effective. No, you won't. All the tablet is a new way to write somebody up.
Yeah.
When I started, we did it on a piece of paper.
Right.
Clipboard, you checked off the boxes. Then we went to a desktop.
And you even had technicians flagging the hours with the old clock.
Yeah, and everybody,
That's right.
They're trying to turn themselves into Amazon, and especially with the young people coming in. Everybody wants to sit behind a computer on a beach and check in twice a day, $7 million they made.
Well, I always say that you're either relational or transactional. And I think so often, it's sales on the sales side becomes more relational when we're selling cars because you're just face to face. I think so often in service departments, it's transactional. It's the next one comes in, we open up the RO, we go through, they go sit in the waiting area. And I always kind of piss and moan that service departments haven't really changed that much since I started in 1990. Yeah, they look cleaner. We have tablets instead of clipboards. We painted the floors. We got tires and stuff, but the process is still the same. And to me, the most important thing to people nowadays is time, right? Time's a new commodity. And when I look at service, I have a Hummer. I got one of those new electric Hummers. Well, I got to go in to get the recall fixed, the new battery and all the other recalls on it. I don't want to go. I want you to come pick it up, give me something to drive. You broke it. Why do I got to take 30 minutes to drive there, 30 minutes you're going to give me a loaner, so that means it's 2 more trips, right? And I just think that so often we think about what's comfortable and convenient for us, not necessarily what's going to give us customers for life.
We don't even think about that, but then the people that do think of that never think to train the people that are doing the job.
That's right.
Service advisors will write up more customers in a single day.
Absolutely.
They will make more gross profit with 15 customers a day. Their ability to build a relationship with the customer. I'm in the process of finishing 2 books. One is for the automotive industry. It's called The Forgotten Rules of Writing Service, Automotive Service. And the other one's a general selling book called The Forgotten Rules of Professional Salesmanship. In doing that, we did a lot of research. And this number just keeps sticking in my head. Even today in the Amazon world, all the big rush to Amazon, everybody here at the dealerships, they want to be like Amazon. We don't want to talk to customers. Let's do everything online. The stats say that 87% of any sale today that's made in the world, especially on service drives and especially in car dealerships, but sales in general as well, 87% of any sale that's made still requires face-to-face, voice-to-voice, or eyeball-to-eyeball contact. Right.
Of
the 13% buy online, half of them won't take delivery of the product or service until they talk to somebody that can explain to them what that product and service does. So it's relationships. And so I'm with you on the technology. I'm with you on the updates and stuff because there's the technology I've seen on the service drive is great. The problem with it is the reason nobody's making money off of it, except for the people that develop it and sell it, is because they don't know how to use it. They approach it from, I'm going to show you how to be Amazon instead of saying, here's this technology. Let me show you how to build a relationship with a customer that makes them want to come back so many times to do this. You not only service, but they want to come back and buy a car and continue to give you gross profit and perfect service.
That's the whole full circle, right? Customers for life. It's everybody doing it together. Because I always thought, in sales, that was my whole side. I didn't know anything about service, quite frankly, until I went to NADA Dealer Academy.
Right.
And I remember going to NADA Dealer Academy thinking, why the hell didn't they teach me this a long time ago? I was back pissing and moaning that service why they're charging me so much on recon. Right. And why does every one of my cars need front-end alignments, my used cars, but you never sell a front-end alignment to any customer coming through the service drive, right? But that was always, it's how it always is. There's always combat, but it's lack of communication and lack of one common goal and understanding it's all about the customer.
It is. I'm going to say something that always makes a lot of people mad, but it's the facts. The biggest problem you have with what you're talking about is that most car dealers and general managers, and they're terrified of service. They don't know anything about service. And so they just kind of blow it off as the back end of the dealership. And my big challenge to dealers and general managers, and it's worked with us, is get involved, go back there and write service. And as a matter of fact, I would say about 30% of the people that we engage with today that have us come into their dealerships and stuff, they memorize the word tracks. The general managers and the dealers, we get them to memorize word tracks. We get it so they can walk around a car, they can ride up a customer, so they can see and feel what it is. And when that happens, a light goes on and the dealership goes crazy because there's that old saying, sells the first one, service sells the second one, right? So I think, one of the biggest problems in regards to what you just said is that the dealers and general managers are scared to death of service. And so I'll look into the camera and challenge every one of them that's watching this. If you don't understand your service department, don't know much about it, go out there and write service.
Yeah. Well, we've never done an absorption rate on the sales department, but we do a fixed absorption rate, right? So we know how important it is money-wise. Now we got to understand how important it is people-wise.
It is, and with the intelligence of most dealers and general managers, I mean, if you took that power that you the brain power that you have to develop what you've done on the front end.
One thing that I always had a question and never understood why we didn't do this in service is in sales, right? You build your book of business. You get your repeat business. I follow up with you. I call you, send you Christmas cards, birthday cards, whatever. Because I want my customers to deal with the same salesperson. But I come into service and I get a different service advisor every single time. They don't talk about what I covered last time. And I almost feel like my service department would be even better if we were more relational that way too.
You know, you got a job. You're like, I've got this book. I'll do it. I'll be crass. You know, the average service advisor today is paid in the United States. Last time I checked 2 weeks ago was $78,000. 20% of the people writing service are making $120,000 or more. Oh, that's awesome. But so where I'm going with this is, you said you go back and it's never the same service advisor. Here's why. We hire them and tell them they're going to make $75,000, $80,000. They'd make $125,000, $150,000. Then we bring him in and they say, okay, I'm ready to go. What do I do? Follow him.
Yeah.
Well, what's he going to teach me? He's going to teach how to do it. Well, if him is only making $60,000,
yeah,
what do you think this new guy is going to make? So the new guy, new girl comes in and they think they're going to make $80,000, and in 6 months they're on the road to making $50,000, and they're sitting there thinking, you know what? When I was a server over at Applebee's,
yeah,
because I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of service advisors that left, you know, because that's one of the things we get. Can you stop turnover in our store? Yes, we can. Let me interview some of the people that left. You call them up and here's what they tell you. Why did you leave? Well, they told me to make $80,000. I was driving a truck making $50,000. I've got 3 kids and a spouse. I go on there and my face tied to customer satisfaction. And I say, okay, my scores are bad. How do I get better scores? Be nicer. And when I said, hey, my pay's tied to sales, how do I make more sales? Try harder. And you know, after 7 months, Jeff, I was on the road to making $45,000, then I'm at $50,000, so I had to go back and feed my kids. So they don't know how to do the job. One of my favorite sayings is, and I don't mean to keep going on here, but one of my favorite sayings is, I've never met a service advisor that didn't want to be successful, but I've met thousands that didn't know how.
Yeah.
If you teach these people how to do the job,
right,
within 30 days, they'll have 2.5 hours per repair order, have a 92% effective labor rate, no heat cases, perfect survey scores, and within 18 months, 85%.
But it's an onboarding thing. I mean, it's the same story on sales side, right? They get Captain Wrinkle, the 6-car guy, say, here, train this new guy, and the 6-car guy wants him to only sell 5 so he doesn't make him look bad. So it's the onboarding's never been more important. You know, it's like car business would be great if it wasn't for people. Unfortunately, we have lots of people. And I think now, yeah, well, moving forward, steal it. That's all. I probably stole from somebody. But I think moving forward, I think we have to learn to do more with less.
Yeah.
Right. Because I always ask guys, would you rather be wrong staffed or short staffed? Right. And they also, well, I'd rather be wrong or short staffed. Yeah, until you have so many customers on the service drive or so many customers walking in the front door that you can't help them all. And then you're just going to hire warm bodies and say, make me proud, go get them, Tiger. And then you're going to bitch that the customers weren't taken care of. And you don't even know how much money you lost because you're just putting warm bodies there. And when you put the warm body there, you're not training them.
You know, of course we're biased because we're both trainers, right? But it's
sure
facts. I can document everything I'm saying here. You know, the difference in training somebody and not training somebody, the average store has 4 service advisors, is the average store right now writes 1.3 hours per repair. If you get them to 1.8, that's an extra, including church, it's an extra 1.6 million a rooftop. Get them to 2.3, it's 3.2 million.
Yeah.
Crazy. Get them to 2.5, now you're in the $5 million range. And here's what's crazy about it, is the domestic cars, the lower end cars, if you want to call them that, can typically do 2.8 to 3.0. The high end cars, 3.5 to 4.0. And so, but the average right now for all dealerships, 1.3 hours.
That's insane.
And so, you know how you get you got to train the people.
And yeah, we got to figure out both ways, right? Got to train the people, and then we got to make sure that we have the right process
driven. And the next step is to have managers and ownership that hold people accountable.
Yeah.
This is the way we do it. And, you know, they're also afraid to do that. One of the things I tell them is, I don't know why you're so afraid to hold people accountable. Tell them in the interview.
Yeah.
You know, my first sales job had nothing to do with the car business. It was the furniture business. And I even though I had a couple of jobs before that, this was the first professional sales job I had where I had professional training. And the owner of the company, she had 80 salespeople. Wow. Okay. And she was the best salesperson I ever met, all due respect. All right. But I remember in the interview, she says, okay, honey, because she called everybody honey. You couldn't get away with that today, but she did. She said, hey, honey, we're getting ready to do your final interview, and if things go right, I'm going to offer you a position. But before I waste an hour of your time and waste an hour of my time, I've got a list of 10 things that you're going to have to do to work here. And so as I'm reading this, if there's anything you got a question about or you don't want to do, tell me now, and we can part ways.
Yeah.
Because this is the way we do it.
I love it.
My way, because I own all of this, and I got it by doing it this way. And so going in, you knew exactly what she expected, exactly how you were going to do it, exactly like you say it. And she wasn't jacking around, man. The first week of training, it was 12 days, 12-hour days. And you had this, I like that too. But you had to memorize by Friday, 70 word tracks.
Nice.
You had to say them in front of her. She only had classes of 6 people.
That's awesome.
And
I love it.
If you didn't do that, she gave you a check and you went the other way. And I was in a class with
no hard feelings.
But you did it her way, and she was successful. It's the same.
But it's got to be your way, right? In service, they're pretty good that way. Sales, but so often the sales side, they're like, well, if I make them do this, they'll quit. Yeah, but if you don't, they'll stay.
Exactly.
So what's worse?
The jewel they're missing is what I say in second, not to be a know-it-all. It's just, but you tell them in the interview, and the first day they show up, you have them sign a contract, and you tell them the same thing. And then what happens is people come to you and say, look, I'm failing.
See, I think all this, though, we could really circle it all the way back. Like I talk about in Fearless, my leadership book, is middle management is undertrained and underdeveloped. Especially on the sales side, I can tell you, we get promoted to management. We get taught how to work the DMS, how to appraise cars, how to work V-Auto, but we don't get into the people side of it, right? The people part's missing.
It's the same thing in service. You take a look at a great number. I'm going to guess, I don't know if this is the exact number, but about 30% of all service managers used to be a tech. Techs don't get sales training.
Right.
Techs are very brilliant people, very smart people, whatever, intelligent people that don't know how to handle customers and put them in charge.
People.
Yeah.
Even great salespeople don't make great managers. Michael Jordan sucked as a coach, but he was a hell of a player, right? So it's really understanding and caring more about your people than they care about themselves. Well, the frictionless, I'll tell you how good my timing is. Frictionless is all about face-to-face selling and closing, negotiating. And it launched at the last NADA convention in Vegas, which was 2020. And what happened right after that? Oh, we couldn't sell face-to-face. COVID hit. So the timing sucked on that one. But now we have to close and negotiate face-to-face now again.
Books their best seller.
So it was. It absolutely was. But look, I think it's always fun. We can talk for hours. Man, you got, what's this, what I've learned from attending Indy 500s? I've never been.
This book has not anybody in the car business can read it. It's for anybody. It's called What I've Learned from Attending Over 40 Indy 500s, Lessons in Sales, Motivation, Leadership, and the like. It's a best-selling book. That's all that Hollywood's interested in possibly making it a song.
Oh, that's cool.
And it gets me some great speaking jobs at the 350 to 400,000 people show up on race day to watch it. And then it's death-defying, 33 cars.
I remember my dad talking about, he went to the time trials and talked about how fun that was.
And, the track is now owned by Roger Penske.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited. Well, I think this about writing service, too. I think one thing that on why if you're a service advisor out there, service writer, whatever you want to call it, you can't always count on your management making you better. At some point, you got to have that self-determination to say, man, I'm going to make myself better. Nobody else is going to push me. I'm going to push myself.
Yep.
So it goes together. Yeah.
If you look at his book is 3 times as thick as 130 pages. What's up with that? It's actually 105 pages. What's up with that?
That's funny. Now, I will say Fearless was actually the book of the month in September of, I believe, 2022 in Siberia. Can you say that? Both of these are translated into Russian. That's pretty good.
4 years running, these have been number one in my mom.
That's right. I love it. No, I just love talking about, like, so often there's that combat, right? You got so many different companies in a dealership. It's like you got the new car against used cars. You got new cars against service against parts. We got to get rid of. We got to break the walls down, right? There's
about this. I'm asking you, because I think you and I are in the same wavelength, right? And I can see a day coming in the next decade or two where it's cradle to grave. The person that writes up the car, sells the car, maybe, and
yeah, I think he's a really high level person. I mean, just going from selling it to doing F&I has so many legal things. As an F&I manager, my job, number one job is to protect the company. Number two job is to secure the deal. Number three job is to improve the gross. So it's hard having somebody go from sales to F&I, then to go to service. I like them as the communication person. I just think it'd be challenging. But I think as we move into electric cars, there's a lot less maintenance. With my Hummer, you just replace things. You don't fix things. Like,
so let me ask you this, if you don't mind me flipping around here for a second. I'm interested because I've studied you, watched you. We've got a lot in common. We'll both do work with Bradley. Why do you think it is guys like us There's so many car dealerships that think they can make it without trainers in general. Why do you think so many?
Because the dealer did. So many of the dealers just worked their ass off. I joke around, half a day is 12 hours, the other half you're off. Well, growing up in the car business, we had 12-hour shifts. That's just what you did. You figured it out. I think we were better people back then. Meaning, I think now we get so stuck on our computers, on our phones, playing games, all kinds of bull crap. And, you think back 10, 15, 20 years ago, when service was gone, we sat around management and sales. We all hung out together. We played football, Nerf football, and we were better leaders. We built chemistry better 10 or 15 years ago. Now we all get in our little bubbles once the service department's closed. Even in service, I think we communicated better with the service guys back then than we do nowadays. It's like totally separate companies because of all the digital crap that keeps us busy.
I hope it this doesn't make it sound like I'm doing that for myself again, but that's the whole basis of why I wrote the book, The Forgotten Rules of Writing Services and Sales, is because everybody just sells at their phone and they don't know how to communicate.
Right.
I've never seen anything like it. It was before COVID, it seemed like it was just the younger generation. Now it seems everybody. People that had the skill, they've lost it.
We just didn't have the communication time. I don't think we have the face-to-face. Like, I'll give you an example. I got a 14 and 15-year-old. If they call my mom, or if I call them on the phone, they don't talk much.
Right.
It's like pulling teeth. Now, if I FaceTime them, we'll talk for 30 minutes. So they can do it when they're face-to-face and seeing it on video, but they can't create things to talk about.
What do you think guys like us have to do to get the bridge that gap with the dealers, the general managers, the decision makers, and make them see that this is really the future? It's almost like going back to the future.
Oh, I think there's so many things. Like, number one, I'm going to ask the dealer, do you have TikTok on your phone? Do you have YouTube on your phone? They all know videos. Everybody knows video's king, right? So I think moving forward, video's got to get put into service departments, just like sales departments. It's king. It doesn't matter your age. I mean, my mom watches YouTube videos all the time, right? It doesn't matter. There's a billion YouTube videos. Who knows how many TikToks and all that. So one, you better put video in, because people will watch a 40-second video before they'll pick up a call from a service advisor. And you got to have some sort of controls to that. So I think that's got to be put in. Plus, I think having online training like we have is important, not because that's how we learn. We didn't learn that way. They got to understand, though, the people we're hiring, they're younger. That they grew up on YouTube. They grew up on 60 seconds to 5-minute videos that's all they did was watch it. They can learn watching video. I can do it, but a lot of older people, they don't get it. They don't like it. So we got to stop thinking like old people and start thinking, okay, my people, what is best for them on how they learn? And that's what I want everybody to learn the same. You might learn good by reading a book. I might learn good by watching a video. Somebody else might just by hearing it over and over. So how do your people learn? And that's what we have to be able to provide them.
I really like what you said about video, because I think video is great on the drive. And the problem is with that is if you walk around here, there's people that offer video on the drive, and there's a lot of people that have it, and they'll say, well, I put it on the drive, it didn't make any money. And it goes back to, it's because your people don't know how to use the video with your customer, because like you said there's got to be some controls sometimes.
Yeah.
Here's the controls. Mr. Customer, I just want to let you know that in writing up your vehicle today, once a factory trained technician gets the opportunity to inspect your vehicle and do our multiple inspection, we're going to film a video and send it to you. Once he gets that video filmed, I will then contact you. That number, does this number reach you? Once I get you on the phone, I'll send you the video and we'll watch it together. And then what happens is they control the relationship, they control what's on the video, they control the sound. If you can get them to do that, I think you're right.
Well, we white label partnered with Co-Video, so we have Pro Video, it's called.
Right.
And we're with stores, and my performance coaches, their job is to call them, and we have courses on Ken's Now that are just how to use video. Whether it's we use video as sold follow up to send customers video every week for 10 weeks after they buy a car, and it's just a 60-second tutorial on one little thing. Whatever it is, it's got to be done all the time, and we have to implement it into our entire day-to-day movements. So it's,
matter of fact, it helped us. Me and my wife watching, because we're happy, we like each other, but the things have not been doing great. As a matter of fact, we had a PP Tom on our balcony, caught him out there. He was asleep.
Nah.
Yeah.
You guys put them to sleep because you guys are so boring.
I know.
Well, man, I'm excited. I appreciate your time. If anybody wants to get a hold of you, what is the best way?
The best way to get a hold of me is either dial, the old-fashioned way, 1-800-248-2931, 1-800-248-2931, or go to automotiveservicetraining.com, automotiveservicetraining.com. Name of the company is Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk. Been in business for 37 years. We've been training service advisors longer than anybody else, better than anybody else. We get higher results, guarantee it.
All right. Well, Jeff, it's great having you here. Hey, for all you guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Keep your eyes open for more. Share it with as many people as you can. We'd like to have lots of followers. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, follow all our social media, and we'll see you guys next time.